And we're back with some more Dyson Sphere Program. And the game is running pretty slow, but our Dyson Sphere is coming along nicely. Right now we're up to about 80% of the frame is constructed, like as in those little nodes. So pretty much all the nodes are done, meaning the rockets will stop in a short while. Sails-wise, well, we haven't actually been putting in the sails because that would have required more time and effort, and let this run overnight to basically hammer out a bunch of this. What was the power level on that? 1.01 terawatts. There we go. Beautiful. There was a few kinks in the production chain. Where is it? Yeah, on the small carrier rockets front. If we check the last 10 hours, you'll see it was going fine for a while and then it dipped off. Turns out there was a problem with the sulfuric acid. Patched it, fixed the issue, got everything back up and running. There was also some issues with the solar cells that I don't want to get into, but they've been resolved also. But by and large, we were able to leave everything unattended and it just worked. We even knocked out a couple of researchers in the background as well. So, let's have a quick go over what we're going to need going forward. Our first stop is Proliferate Prime. This place gives us all of the well, not all. A large chunk of the proliferate we produce comes from this planet. 1,904 proliferate in profit per instance. Now, I say in profit because, well, it consumes a bunch of proliferate as well. But we do have several of these builds. In fact, we have 9 of them here, meaning we can produce 17,000 proliferate and change. Now, the thing is, we're only currently consuming about 14k, but we do have a whole bunch of other proliferate that's being made in another planet that's being used for something else, so we don't have to worry. We're still well covered on the proliferate front, and the easy way to check is you can just go in and you can see the ones that have been drained. So this one's actually doing quite well. This one's probably full then. Yeah, so we got a second one that's full, a third one that's full, and a fourth one that's full. So we basically have 2, 4, 6, say about 7,000 proliferate per minute extra we can chuck on top of that, and we'll be good. So no need to expand this out just yet. This ghost planet over here is antimatter production. Oh, there we go. It's finally loaded in. This is the antimatter production line, and as you can see, that's actually mostly empty. Oh, we're burning through a lot of power. Okay, that one's full. That one's also full. Okay, so we're using like a third of the power we can produce. That's fine. That means we just got plenty more left over to utilize. That means we're swimming in proliferate, we're swimming in power, and our Dyson ships is going to be going offline in probably the next 4 or 5 hours, I'd say. Actually, wait, no. Maybe another 8 hours. Whatever. That will go offline in a while. For now, though, we need to concentrate on solar sails. So over here, we need to find the solar sails production. Why didn't I label these correctly? Ah, there we are. So, we need to pop over here, and we need to increase solar sail production by just a ginormous margin. Thankfully, this planet was already loaded in by the time we arrived in system, and this down here is solar sail production. I really should start shipping the hydrogen somewhere else. The sheer quantity of these thermal generators to burn off the excess hydrogen is kind of ridiculous. But, nah, we've built it in because it's just... We've got the space, we've got the resources, let's just plow down a bunch more of these. 6,300 solar sails per minute, black box design. Check it out, wait, right there, perfect. And no. Damn it. Why can't that go in over there? Some people say I should just put foundation like literally everywhere, but nah, that's just too much effort. I suppose it'd probably be faster, but then I have to ship it over here, and it's a whole extra thing. There we go. Much better. Alright, I'm going to put down like about 10 of these, I think, is a good start. This is a lot of construction. What I've started doing is just integrating battlefield analysis stations into the builds so that, well, stuff gets built. There's a lot of building going on. And our production of solar sails has started to go up quite substantially. In the last 10 minutes, we're up to 70,000 solar sails a minute. I can't even remember what we were before this. But yeah, no, this seems to be going along quite nicely. This whole black box thing, it just makes things so much easier. Oh, that reminds me, that one I need to force build really quick. Because that one calls in the proliferate. And we all know, you gotta proliferate everything. Now, where did I put... See, what I've started doing is integrating in a battlefield analysis station in the bottom left corner. And then what I do is I want to mirror them across from these guys so that there's a battlefield analysis station down here they could build it. It basically allows me to get both corners at the bottom without doing any major retrofits. Downside is, it does not really work with this stuff at the top, so I still have to build all the power plants in. But it does mean we're able to produce stuff at a rapid pace. And then you kind of have a look here and we're like, oh, we're short transport belt and furnaces and assemblers. You can see them in marked in red. So then all we do is we pop up to top of the map. And we go, oh, actually I haven't brought in furnaces yet, have I? So give it transport belt. We are actually using the transport belt faster than we can bring it here. That's how much we're using. It's okay, we got some spare transport belt. Not enough, probably. Actually, definitely not enough. And furnaces we don't have on site, but this place here can start... Actually, do we even need them? I don't think we need them. We need so few furnaces for this build. We can depend on our stockpiles that are stored here in the logistics section. We'll just grab 250 of those. And then all we're missing is actually nothing. We can place down another blueprint and start on the next turn. I will have to go back round and finish out a few little bits in the middle. But by and large, this allows us to place down a lot of stuff very quickly. And nope, wrong quarter. There we go. And right about there. Excellent. Then we just hit Shift Enter. We make sure the battlefield analysis station gets complete and that it gets power. And then once that's powered up, I should probably go back, finish off a few of them, and also put down some power for a few of them. This last section is coming online, and I think it's time, well, we stopped adding here. Reason being is we're starting to max out in consumption. Consumption appears to be 55,700 for the last 10 minutes. And even if we cut it down to the last minute, it's actually 51,000. Something's going on here with the actual launching of all the sales. So we can now produce more sales than we can launch. That's unfortunate. We still have enough room for 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh my god, okay. 5... Yes, we still have room for 5 more of those, each one producing about 6,300. But I think we're done here for now. Let's head back to Big Blue and see how our solar sail launching is going. Galaxy is starting to look a little bit too active, if you ask me. All of those ships, you can see them all just zipping back and forth. Yeah, I didn't really want that many. I wanted everything to be more confined. I think Dyson ships is just, it's pulling resources from all over the place. It will be shut down though, about 4 hours or so, maybe less, and the entire Dyson Sphere will be finished, at which point we won't need the rockets anymore. Well, not the Dyson Sphere will be finished, the frame. The sails themselves though, I think we're going to have to rip out at the other planet, the one that's launching the rockets, and switch it entirely over to launching sails. I am really curious to see how the launcher planet is going. We have a planet that's just launching nothing but solar sails. That's like the entire planet is just covered in that, and power of course. I think it's going to be fully stocked right about now. We're coming up on Big Blue now, and that does look like a blue stream of solar sails coming out of that planet. Question is it more of a minigun than the last planet? Come on. Yeah, just gotta make sure I don't stick the landing on this one. Yep, that's looking beautiful.
Warp engine deactivated.
Nice. Okay, then. I suppose we can only ever have half the planet's surface firing at any one time. I really wish this... Like, I know there's mods that can change which orbits they fire at, but I don't want to use mods. The reason being, when it comes to this game, if you start a new game, it carries over some of your research, as in it gives you these research point things that you can spend to speed up your next game, but it only works if you haven't actually modified your game. If you run any mods, that doesn't work. So once we start plowing out tens of thousands of science, we'll get more and more of those points, which means next time if I ever come back here, I can just knock out all the science immediately and get straight to the end game without having to go through all the teching up phase. Let's have a look, see if there's any problems with this planet, but I don't think there is. If that's the case, then we're going to be limited on how many solar sails we can fire. What are we currently looking at? We've got a current consumption rate of 56,000. I mean, that's not terrible, but maybe I should design my own planet. Like, I think I'm going to have to design my own railgun planet and see if I can beat this one. I mean, this was a brilliant prepackaged design. All I had to do was chuck it down and all that. But maybe, just maybe we can make a slightly more compact one that can fit a few more guns. Why are you not shooting? Wait, what? Why do some of these not have orbits selected? Well then, oh, this is going to take me ages. Is there no way to drag select this? Oh no. So while flying around, and notice this little spot here, I think this is directly opposite the focal point, as in the opposite side of the planet where we're shooting at. Yeah. So what happens here is, yeah, some of the turrets just swing 180 degrees because they've got a point to the opposite side of the planet now. You can see them all. These ones here are doing it slowly, but these ones here sort of just hit a flipping point, and then at some point they just go whoop, all the way to the other side. Now this guy's here is just about to go past the 180 degree mark, and then boom. I think that's the fastest I've seen one of those turrets move. Anyway, I think I'm almost done here. Pretty sure I've caught most of them. Ah, that is how you develop carpal tunnel. Oh my god, I had to like you're pressing one button on one side of the keyboard while trying to scroll with your mouse. Buttons on the other side of the keyboard. It's yeah, that was unpleasant. But for now, that should have cranked up our output. Consumption has gone up to 65,000. Yeah, much better. So we're doing about, we can get about 65,000 solar sails per minute with this setup. That means if we do this on the other planet, we can launch 120,000 solar sails per minute. It'll probably take us about 40 hours to finish the Dyson Sphere, assuming you can absorb all of them, which currently... Damn it, it can't absorb all the ones we currently have. Right, so we're already at max. Never mind then, never mind. So that means we don't need any more solar sails, we don't need any more launchers, we don't need any more rockets. Now it's just a case of exploiting this Dyson Sphere for its photons so that we can make science. Well, okay, we got two more things to make as well. One was going to be the lenses for the inner planet. Actually, how much power are we drawing again? We are... Yeah, we could probably start making the lenses now. And I also want to make warpers. Lensers and warpers would basically be the last two bits of the jigsaw puzzle, and after that, we just do science. It's kind of mad to think it's only been an hour of game time since we started upgrading our solar sail production. Huh. Right then. We need to find another planet to put down the sundries, and I need to do a little bit of math on that before we get around to it. We have ourselves about 5,000 of those ray receivers, and we just want to see... This says it burns them at 0.1 a minute. Does it still burn them at 0.1 a minute if we've proliferated them? Max output by 3. So, from what I can see, yes, it still burns it at 0.1 a minute, despite it having proliferate on it, and the proliferate actually doubles its effectiveness. This is rather incredible. Alright, That means we need to figure out how many of these Graviton engines we're going to need to produce to run 5,012-ish. Well, it says 5,020, but we took out a few. Give me a second. I thought this wasn't going to be bad. Like, all we need is... Well, we multiplied the number we needed by 0.1, so we needed about 512 of them per minute. This is, like, a lot. We're going to need 15 assemblers just to recompose them, which is fine. Or just to make them. But then we need 48 miniature particle colliders to make the strange matter. There are 13 to do the pink particle containers. Like, there's going to be a fair chunk to this. But this will provide all of the gravitational lenses for a single planet of Dyson lenses thingies. Yeah, time to get designing. One last thing before we go. This is our current Space Warper production facility. Otherwise referred to as the Abomination. This thing here has, I can't recall, but it's got 11 of these, well, 12 of these production facilities. So assuming 11 of them can run flat out, and the 12th was just tacked on to maybe handle the excess, but assuming this is 11 of them, they can produce 660 to 720 space warpers per minute. Right now, we're only using 309. So I think we're good on the space warper front. Actually, let's average that over the last 10 hours. Yeah. I think we're good, like 600, like we got twice as many as we need pretty much. This here is what's going to be producing our Graviton lenses. This is my worst build in a while, namely because, well, we only need to build at most 3 of these. So I figure even though there's a few mistakes here and there, it's not really a big deal. Also, making this small was not going to be an option no matter what we did, namely because, well, there's like 48 of these particle colliders, and these things are just gigantic no matter what you do. Where is it? The most obvious example of my stupidity is going to be up here. I put these two beside each other, and I could have just outputted them both onto one line. That would have been simpler. Yeah, I didn't figure that till later. Also, I don't need to put these on the bus. I should just actually have them come through here and then all pop over down the end. Since all of them are used in this one spot, putting them on the bus was pointless. But it works. It does its job. It produces the required amount of Graviton lenses, and it burns off its own hydrogen, and the excess hydrogen it produces from using fire ice, yeah, that gets transported off-world sometimes. It doesn't all get burned here. Some of it actually got transported away at the start, so we're covered in case there's a backlog or a backup in the system. Oh, and this will probably come up. See these pink particle containers here? There's a very interesting variant on these. You see, when it comes to pink particle containers, you can make them with green motors and copper plate and graphene, or you can just make them with copper plate and unipolar magnets. This means you don't need you don't need graphene, which means there would be no fire ice involved in this build, which means that entire line of chemical plants would just be gone. Also, all of the generators using to burn off the excess hydrogen, that would also be gone. And the green motors would no longer be necessary, which means, yeah, this entire section here would be gone, all the green motors. All of these guys here would also be gone, the regular motors. I'm pretty sure the gears would be gone as well, like a whole bunch of them gone. The problem is I'm looking at the amount of unipolar magnets we have, and it's just, there's not a lot of them. I would prefer to just have this covered, so that whenever I come back to play this, I can just chuck one of these down again without having to think and make sure I've got unipolar magnets on the bus. Like, no, just use regular materials, because all you're really saving is fire ice, copper and iron, all of which are incredibly plentiful and common. It just seemed not worth it. I just put this together a little bit sloppily. It works just fine. It does what it needs to do. Now let's go plug that into our Dyson Sphere. Oh, and you may have noticed that the time has progressed a bit. That was because I did a little bit of clearing house. Like this place here, where we're making Graviton lenses, there's no hives there. We also went over to this section over here, also cleaned that out. We also have to put plasma protectors on all of the planets. Same with this one over here. I'm thinking that this is going to be where we put together our science facilities, namely because they've got a whole bunch of the stalagmite crystals, and those we will use. I've done the math on that, and even if we're pumping out 10,000 science per hour, it'll still last 16, 17 days easily. And every time we upgrade our mining, that actually extends on the time. So, yeah, but that will be later. For now, let's go back to Big Blue. We want to start plugging in these Graviton lenses. Back on Big Blue, things are looking decidedly more completed. That's because it's 17 hours since we were last here. Now, the reason it took me so long to put together that build was not actually to do with the build, it was to do with fighting. I cleared out a whole bunch of sectors, and I was trying to figure out what was the fastest way to kill the hives in space, because they take the longest amount of time. So I started playing around with the combat settings I basically made a save game file, and I tested a bunch of different configurations. There's basically 4 different configurations you can go with when it comes to combat. I was just using massed corvettes. They had a higher DPS, I figured they'd be better. But I tried out the others, I tried out all destroyers, and all destroyers was actually better. Are they called destroyers? Yeah, it's corvettes and destroyers. So all destroyers was actually better, and then I tried 2 destroyers, 2 corvettes, or 2 destroyers, 1 corvette, and then 1 destroyer, 2 corvettes. Turns out 1 destroyer, 2 corvettes was cost-efficient, fastest, and generally came out the fastest. Not always, it depends how you attack. Never attack a hive from the top. Actually, we should probably go demonstrate some stuff that I learned in a bit. But, back here at the Dyson Sphere, I turned the visibility back on so we can look, but yeah, we're up to 2.7 terawatts. Not, huge amounts of power yet, but, I think that's pretty decent. Oh, and if we pop over to Big Blue 1, or, well, 8 Shields Big Blue 1, basically, yeah, Pinhead over here. What we're going to do is... Oh, actually, sorry. Disneyland. Disneyland is, well... Oh, 1 second. Missing one thing. Pin that for the second. And that is these things. Gravitational lenses. Let's put it there and say, give me remote demand. Perfect. Now we just got to do the same with all the rest of these things. Huh. Turns out it's only the top one and the bottom one that require them. Actually, a very well-designed little blob. Right, all the middle ones don't contain any. They only pick up the resulting photons for the removal from the planet. Now all you got to do is wait until they arrive, and once they do, this planet should change. As in, right now, you can't really see the atmosphere. Well, okay, you can see that sort of shield thing over there. See that shield thing sort of reflecting almost off the atmosphere. But once we get gravitational lenses into those dishes, it should change the color of the atmosphere. And I gotta turn off the Dyson Sphere for a bit because I keep forgetting. That thing kills the game if I leave it on for too long. Better. Now, let's hold on until those gravitational lenses arrive and we can really see this planet light up. Before they arrive, I would also like to point out there's this entire rear area of the planet that is completely dead. It's not getting any sunlight. And because of that, we're not getting any photons out of that section. And power-wise, we are drawing down 426 gigawatts, which we have 100% sufficiency in. Once those gravitational lenses arrive, though, that's going to change quite substantially. Dark fog swarm is launching an assault. Very well then. Where's the farm system? Where's the assault? Oh, here they are. Like, good luck to you. You do realize there's like a mountain of plasma cannons on both the top and bottom of that planet, and you get blasted before you even reach the atmosphere. I am perfectly okay with your imminent destruction. And gravitational lenses have arrived. We need to go straight to that location. Yes, there it is. The Aurora Borealis type looking thing. You can see like the little motes dancing in the sky. That is super cool. But this is where where is it? Is this the gravitational lenses? Yes, I think this is the gravitational lenses here. And some of them gets cut off by splitters. So the splitters move them out onto the sidelines, which means, actually let's try and gain a bit of altitude. Maybe we can see it kicking in. We can see the sparkles down the middle, but they haven't actually started spreading much further. Come on. And we still got that blank spot at the back. This might take a little time. Well, it does seem like the gravitational lenses are slowly permeating out, but not very quickly. I'm going to have to double check how this is working. It feels like this is super slow. All they should need is one... Oh, it's probably stockpiling them in each one of the machines. How many is each one holding, I suppose, is the tricky bit. 20. Each one of you require 20 to get warmed up. Well then, that might take a little time. So, how much input are we getting in here? Yeah. Like, it's going to take time for this to permeate throughout the entire system, so I think I'm just going to put down more gravitational lenses on the, like, build more gravitational lenses, maybe? I suppose we are pumping out as fast as we get them in. So, integration counter's not on. I presume, well, it also makes it saner for a lot of other reasons, but we're going to turn that on, at least until we've saturated the system. Once the system is saturated, we can turn that off again. This is taking an incredibly long time to spread out all of the Graviton lenses. Probably because there's only 2 places distributing them. Well, you can see them flowing down here. It's like pretty much a full belt because it's done the top layers, but then as it goes down further and further, this is the belt in here, you can see the breaks in it as more and more and more lenses are taken off. I might actually upgrade these to... Actually, no, I don't want to put stack sorters on there. That's just going to make it worse. Yeah, we'll let it keep going and doing its thing. It'll take a while, but eventually it'll get all the way to the end. I think this is the end? And in the end. Then if we go the opposite side, there should be ones coming from... No, actually, never mind. That keeps going. Wait, does this just do the entire planet from one pole to the other? And then the other side is doing the entire planet from one pole to the other as well? Okay, that's a way to do it, I suppose. Alright, while that's going on, we need to start prepping, you see. We're getting more and more antimatter coming in because we're up to 2.8 terawatts of power, but we're now drawing down 975 gigawatts, which is being converted into photons. Those photons we can convert into antimatter. We're just about ready to get into the end game, which is basically just throwing down as much research as the game will support before it falls over. Now, that means there's a couple of things I'd like to knock out of the way. Namely, antimatter production. We're going to be burning a lot of power as we start to bring all the sciences online. So probably going to want to triple or quadruple power production at least. And then there's Proliferator Prime over here. We're probably going to want to triple Proliferator production as well. Same builds, but it's just like... This is why I like the black box design. All we're going to do is stack on the same blueprints that we've got. Should be pretty easy to do in the background. And yes, the planet is getting prettier, and I can't wait to see when the entire thing is just covered in this sort of blue glow. Mining efficiency has finally hit 4%. That's how much we lose every time we mine ore, and mining speed has gone up to 620%. Oh, and this has resulted in some fun changes, namely gas giants. We've got a gas giant over at the Graviton lens facility, and we're just pulling down deuterium directly from the gas giant. The reason being we're pulling it down directly from the gas giant, it actually produces enough now that it's worth it. Namely because of the mining speed bonus. We're getting 620% more, well, 6.2 times as much deuterium out of each one of them. So one gas giant is able to actually produce enough deuterium to feed all of those Graviton lens facilities. In fact, from now on, we're going to be getting all of our deuterium from gas giants. Might want to stick to, well, tap into a few more of them. There's a lot of gas giants around the place. But from now on, deuterium, we're not going to be making it in fractionators or making it in antimatter colliders. We're just gonna pull the stuff down from gas giants. Far easier. This here is our antimatter production planet. I remember spending a decent amount of time on this trying to get this one right. This one is very important because we're going to have to make, well, a lot of them to burn off all of the photons we're collecting. These things, like, we've literally been running on one of these. Well, we had 3 of them up, but only one of them was actually getting used. That's how much power they can generate. It's kind of ridiculous. And now we have, let's see, that's one build there. See those 2 towers? This is sort of a pie slice style, so, and it's got an integrated power supply in the blueprint. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we now have 9 power supplies up and running. Of course, all of them have to fill up on photons. Those critical photons had to come from Big Blue. And looking at the Big Blue system, you can see that giant spike in. Like these are when it early started out, and then the last 10 hours or so are probably the best indication. We've just been sipping photons for the last while. And it's only now that we've activated this system. In the last hour, you'll see it's just gone voop. That's because Big Blue should now currently be pulling down probably the maximum, maybe not the maximum amount, but a lot. Actually, I could probably work out how many photons it can pull down. According to my numbers, Disneyland can pull down 120,288 photons per minute at maximum throughput. We're not even close. We're not even close to that. Not even within, like, I suppose if I covered the other side of the equator with these, that might help. But that's going to have to wait. We've got other things we want to do. This just gets us tided over on power. Now we got to go take care of Proliferate. Oh, and have I mentioned in a while how much I love these things? They've been blapping everything out of the sky, and it's nice. Every time you get a notification, it's like, oh, someone's trying to land on this planet. You go have a look, and boop. It's a nice thing to know that they're still trying to land. If you just put down shields, they don't even try and land. It's not nearly as much fun. Well, that looks lovely and neat. Did I overload this place? I'm just thinking, maybe I'm going to have to expand this to another planet. Huh. Yeah, this is just me arriving. I'd forgotten how much I'd built here. So this seems to be the end of the line, and it's full. So that one's not even being used. This one, also not even being used. Again. Again. Still full. Still full. But it's actually had fire ice called down, so it must be actually have some draw on it. And this one is being used, and this one is being used, and that one's being used, right? So that's at least 2 of them are being used heavily. And a third one, yet that one's being used. So 3, potentially 4 of them are being used heavily. And we have about 5 left over. I think this is because rockets have shut down. We're not using the rocket production anymore. We could, but I don't want to cheat and use more rockets. Alright, for now, I'm still going to stick down a bunch more of these, just to make sure we have plenty of Proliferate for what we're doing next. Upgrades complete. We took everything that was on this side of the planet, basically stretched it. You know what? I'll show you. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 on the top row, 12 on the bottom. So we're up to 24. 24 Proliferate production facilities are online. The replication process is just so easy. This whole black boxing thing, I really should have built in power supplies though. I still have to go around and chuck down a few power supplies on top of this. But it just simplifies the process so much. There's no messing about it. All it's like is, do I have the resources necessary to plop down this blueprint? And it's like, no, I'm short, whatever, transport belt there, which is missing. Then all I do is I pop over here. Transport belt is stored in this tower. I grab as much transport belt as I need, top up my my storage, and off you go again. This means we should have enough Proliferate to last us for, well, the foreseeable future. I'm hoping it'll at least be another 40 or 50 hours before we need to add another Proliferate planet. Considering my frames, I don't know what the limit is for the amount of science. Actually, what's the record for the science production? Well, I went digging online. Most I can find is like a 10,000 science per minute base. We should be able to hit that. I mean, we've got the resources, the power, the tech, all of it. Just a case of whether or not the computer can handle it. We might have to dismantle some old stuff. Like, you might have to rip down our ship production facility. We don't need it anymore. Oh, I should probably go over what we don't need anymore. You see, right now at Big Blue, we have finished the frame on this Dyson Sphere. And because the frame is complete, we don't need any more rockets. Once the nodes are up, now all those nodes can accept the solar sails, but it's going to be very slow from here on in. Like, I've left this running overnight twice now. Probably going to have to do it another few, like, several nights, maybe. Oh, God knows. But what we could do is we could actually add another shell. You could put another shell inside this, and we could keep adding more and more shells, and, you know, they would have to get smaller, of course. But that would give us more nodes, which would give us more places to put the solar sails, and we'd ramp up power faster. But I don't want to do that. I want to try and finish out, like, the whole Dyson Sphere. That sort of was the point. And we want to convert all of that into science. Well, until the computer falls over. I'm pretty sure the computer will fall over long before we're able to spend even the first 2.91... Well, the first... How much are we actually drawing down? 2.17 terawatts. Ooh. Alright, well, we're currently requesting 2.17 terawatts from our Dyson Sphere, Disneyland? Yeah, Disneyland over there. We'll pop over and have a look. It should look absolutely beautiful now that it's got all the dishes active. They must all be active to be pulling down that much power. Oh, and this planet here only has one row of rail cannons going. Well, one double row. The reason being, well, if we turn them off, we stop ending up with solar sails. This ring of solar sails is the extra sails that have nowhere to get stuck into the actual Dyson Sphere. However, if we stop firing those two rows and we just go with the single planet, we have a whole planet just firing solar sails. That one there can't quite keep up with the demand of the whole Dyson Sphere. So these extra two supplement the amount that are coming from... the other one should be clearly visible once you take off. Oh, yeah, it's that big blue line over there called Blue 2. Blue 2 over there is launching an absolutely gargantuan amount of sails. That entire planet is, well, basically just one giant cannon. A big, beautiful cannon at that. Alright, we'll pop over here and we'll have a look at... I do like Disneyland. Right, be beautiful. Ooh, that is cool. Is there a gap there, or have they just... Oh, I don't think these ones at the very end have got their... Yeah, no, they have not gotten their... Graviton lenses. And you can see some back there are still inactive. They're still in the night cycle. But basically, all of these should now be capable of pulling down 24 photons per minute. Except for the ones that haven't quite gotten their little lenses yet. But damn, that is a lot of... It's like just a glow into the sky. Let me double check here. I think there's still a few more to go. I don't think they're all done. I mean, a lot of them are, but not all of them. So yeah, you're online. Yeah. Ah, here we go. So this is where it hasn't quite caught up yet. It's very close, actually. This is where they've gotten as far. This guy's got 16. This guy's got 10. They're going to wait to fill up. They need to top out at about 20, then they'll let more by. And as it gets closer and closer to full, it's probably slowing down a little bit more because it's got to keep feeding the entire planet. That is so many. Whoa. Where is the split off point? Let me have a quick look around here and make sure everything's working as intended. Turns out we're just a little bit behind on the Graviton lens delivery. I've put it up to max. It wasn't actually maxed out. That's probably... It's taking a long time for them to get here. Alright, once we catch up with that, everything should max out. Until then... Yeah, the planet still looks awesome. And I remembered I need to do one last thing before I can check out the science. Space warpers. Yeah, we need to produce more of them. Like, the thing is, we're going to be massively ramping up production, which means we're going to be massively increasing the amount of space warpers we're going to need. So I figure we chuck down like a few thousand space warper production and just let that tide us over until, well, forever. Space warpers are actually a bit tricky. They require organic crystal and, well, a bunch of the other basic resources, but we don't have any organic crystal really in this corner of the galaxy. This corner over here is, well, the only one I can find is Proliferate Prime has 22 million organic crystal. This is the best source. All the rest is like 5-6 million chunks, but I don't want to occupy that. You know what? I will do this off screen. It's basically just going to be a small production build, but I've run out of time. And oh my god, this planet is so beautiful. Just look at it. That actually, that's a screensaver right there. But anyway, the plan. Put together space warpers will say about 9,000, maybe 10,000 space warpers per minute. That should sort us out for the foreseeable future. And it'll just be a case of chucking down science and keep ramping the science up until something starts to break. We should be... Actually, let me check something here. Looking at the numbers, to make 10,000 science would require 8,000 photons and about 200 gigawatts of power. We can make 120,000 photons out of this one planet. Now, of course, we have to turn a bunch of that back into power, but I still think we're good. I think we're very good on that front. In fact, how's the power draw going? We are requesting 2.26 terawatts of power. So yeah, hitting 10,000 science per minute with our current power is going to be easy. So yeah, it's just a case of building until we can't build no more. Alright, I'm going to cut this out here for the day. I hope you enjoyed and good luck.